And welcome to our final session here of Innovation Ignites over Canva Magic. This is honestly, I think, the best. We saved the best presentation for the end because this is a lot of the AI tools that Canva has embedded within its program. And fortunately for all of us, all these AI tools are what they call their magic. So they get to put a fun little name there to the AI tools called Magic. So we've got a resource that we wanted to share with you all today. Heather just dropped that there in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So as far as the magic tools within Canva, they start them all in an area called Magic Studio, which is the link that I had sent you all. It's basically different guides and one-pagers when it comes to the different magic tools that teachers would utilize when using Canva. So we're going to be exploring several of those magic tools today, and I'll be referring back to these different resources as we work through today's session. So if I haven't already said it, my name is April Hernandez. I am the coordinator for secondary digital learning, and I have my partner here.
Hi, I'm Charles. I'm secondary digital learning specialist.
All right, and so we're going to start with looking at Canva's magic design. So one thing that I love about Canva is it gives you a starting place when it comes to designing a variety of different types of designs. And today we're going to start on our home page here in Canva. So I've opened up my home page and I can see the Magic Studio option over here on the left-hand side. So I'm going to go ahead and select Magic Studio. And once the Magic Studio loads, it will show me several different AI or magic options available to us here in Canva. Like I was saying, Magic Design is the one we're going to start with because that's typically the one it kind of gives you your starting place and then you can build and grow from there. So for Magic Design, it does what it says. It designs graphics designs for you. So for example, you could design a presentation. That's what this orange square is here in the middle. You could also design a video using artificial intelligence. So today we're going to start with presentation. So I'll click try now. And once I click try now, it's just going to give me a quick little example or just kind of pointers, I should say, of using Magic Design, saying, maybe you should start by describing your presentation in a few words and use Magic Write to maybe fill any holes that you may have had. So we'll look at all those magic tools through Magic Design. So I'm going to click try Magic Design. And once Magic Design loads, it's basically going to give me kind of a 2-page presentation here with the instructions on how to use Magic Design. So it says to click the search bar on the left toolbar. It already opened that search bar here for me. And now for step 2, I just need to write my pitch and press enter for what I want the presentation to be. So since we are thinking about an educational standpoint from this, I think I would want to design.
Do the water cycle.
Over the water cycle. So water cycle is our go-to. So I'm going to design a water cycle, if I could type, presentation. So notice up here at the top in that search bar, I just said design a water cycle presentation, and I'm going to press enter. After I press enter, I will see something down here that says all results. So I'm going to kind of scroll here. Under all results, I basically am going to be seeing a bunch of water type presentations. So all of these presentations have something to do with water as their theme. But what we were looking for was Magic Design. So it does take a little bit to load. But up here at the top now, I have my Magic Design options to pick from when it comes to the water cycle. So I'm going to go ahead and click See All here to load all my Magic Design options over the water cycle. I can click on the one I like. So let's just say I like this one because of the colors. I can preview the different slides that Canva has generated for me, and I can apply all 7 slides. If I didn't like this one, let's say I'm like, oh, that one's too blue. I want something of a different color. I could go back, check out a different version of that presentation and pick on that one. So for this example, let's just go ahead and use our first one. So I'm going to click on the water cycle journey and apply all 7 pages. And now with the click of a button and typing what, 5, 6 words, I was able to generate a presentation all about the water cycle. Now, is this a all-encompassing, ready-to-go lesson to send out to your students? No, but it's definitely a good starting place for you as a teacher to have somewhat of a basis or foundation when it comes to designing or building your presentation over the water cycle. So now that we've explored a little bit about the magic design, I could then begin editing any of the text or images that magic design created for me, which Charles is going to look at next.
Sure. So looking at some of the text on these individual slides, we have some things that are kind of decent as far as information goes, but it's probably not exactly aligned to the things in our curriculum. For example, here's our water cycle through time, where we're talking about the formation of oceans, evaporation beginning, the discovery of the water cycle, and a modern understanding of the water cycle. If I needed to, say, make changes to any of this text, there is a tool in Canva called Magic Write that will let us insert AI text or rewrite text in a different way. So for example, if I decided that this text here is too long, I could select it, tell it to Magic Write, and then summarize that. And it will rewrite that text into a shorter version. If I wanted to rewrite it more formal, ask it to rewrite it in a more formal tone. I wanted it to be more fun, rewrite this as a more fun tone. And it will rewrite our text for us, just to save us a little bit of time and not have to necessarily do everything for the entire slide for each individual text box. We can also look at the individual slides here, do everything that we could do with any other slide, resize, move things around. So that's Magic Write. That's our second tool that we wanted to look at, just as far as getting the content onto your slides. Between the two, you can make a pretty detailed presentation. If you needed a specific text box about a particular topic, you can even come in and add your own text boxes and ask Magic Write to write about that topic. So give it kind of your beginning text. Explain the water cycle in detail and ask Magic Write to rewrite that for us. And we'll get a more detailed explanation that then we could edit and kind of make our own. But just know that this tool is available for you. Students will not necessarily have access to these Magic Write tools. It is limited to staff. So just know that if you wanted your students to be able to use this, you would need to give them the content that you wanted them to work with as a template that then they are editing. So you might give them the more formal version and then ask them to create a more fun, or give them the fun version and ask them to rewrite it in a more formal way.
Awesome. So there's where you can adjust some of your writing, but you can also adjust the language using AI in Canva. So for example, if I had this presentation here, but I also have students in my classroom that are EB that need this translated into a different language. Canva is able to actually translate all of this text using AI through its translate tool, which we can look at now. So in order to translate, you'll want to select your apps icon over here on the left-hand side menu. From apps, you can search or find translate here in your list, or you could just type translate here at the top to search for that translate app. So I just typed translate, hit enter, and now I'm going to search for my app. I say I'm going to search for my app. See if it'll actually load. Seems like it's still loading because there are a lot of apps here within Canva, but I have that translate here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on translate. And when you open up translate, you're given two kind of tabs to work with. The first tab is just where you select what language and what text you want to translate. But then you can also adjust your settings for how that translated text appears. So I could reduce that font size, I could duplicate the page, or I could mirror the page to match the text direction. So you have all those setting options to play with as well. I'm going to go ahead and just keep those settings the way they are, and I'm going to select the language I want to translate to. So for this example, let's say I wanted to translate into Spanish, I could either search or scroll to find my language. Once I've selected what language to translate to, notice it's automatically detecting the current language. I don't have to go in and say what that current language is. But then the next thing I need to decide is what to translate. Translate all the pages or to translate certain text from the pages. I have that flexibility. For this option, I'm just going to translate pages, and then I will select all the pages I want to translate. So let's say I wanted to translate pages 1 through 7. Go ahead and check that box, press done. And then when I hit translate here, Canva is going to use this magic translate tool to translate every slide on my presentation. So you'll notice page 1, there's that original slide, but then page 2 is my translated slide in that new language, and it will tell me that here in the page title. So Translate is a great tool that Canva has to offer that makes that translation super, super simple for the teacher and the student. Students do have access to the Translate tool. And now that we've kind of looked at some of the editing of text, the next thing we're going to look at is some of the other really neat AI tools that Canva has to offer when it comes to images. So Charles is going to take us through the next piece of AI magic in images.
Okay, so this is the one that really blew my mind, made me fall in love with Canva all over again. So I'm going to go to this third slide here that says Water Cycle Journey Ahead to access what's called Magic Media in Canva. It's an app, so I'll come over here to my apps and I can search for Magic Media. And eventually it'll be here.
It should be, yeah, under popular.
So it may be under your popular apps. If it's not, a simple search will find it for you, but I'm going to just go ahead and select it here. And so the way that Magic Media works is we give it a text prompt. So we describe the image that we want, and then Canva will generate it for us. So in addition to the text that we want it to generate, we can also choose art styles. So if we wanted this to be a photograph, we can make it generate a photograph. If we wanted an anime style or a watercolor style, there are quite a few other digital arts. If I needed a psychedelic image, I can do that. 3D models, all sorts of different options for us here. I'm just going to pick this neon here. It doesn't match the theme, but that's okay.
You do seem in a very neon mood today.
I am in an extremely neon mood. So I'm going to ask for a picture of the water cycle, including precipitation and evaporation. And let's see what it comes up with. So I'm just going to click Generate Image. And Canva will generate 4 different options for me that I can pick from. If I don't like any of them, I can tell it to regenerate even more. If I like one, but it's not quite what I want, I can also tell Canva to generate more like that. And then it will kind of use that as a basis. Okay, April likes this bottom one, so let's insert it and see kind of what it looks like. So here's my image of the water cycle. I'm going to bring that forward on my layers here. Let's see what that looks like. So there are some labels here. You're going to find, though, that in most cases, text in generated images from AI is not going to work very well. We found in trying to generate, for example, a logo for Innovation Ignites, that it cannot spell the word innovation correctly. Or the word ignites correctly. So just be very careful if you ask this to generate any kind of an image with text. Make sure that the text is spelled correctly and that it actually makes sense. Some of these other images here, if I wanted to pick a couple of different ones, I can pick and choose, and then choose the one that best represents whatever the message is that I'm trying to get across. So we'll leave April's in because I'm all about making April happy.
Could you also though generate more that are like the one I like?
Sure. So to generate more, click these three dots and say generate more like this. There is an option to generate video. However, the education version of Canva does not have generate video enabled for us. So we're stuck with generating images. Those are pretty cool on their own though. So I'm generating some additional images based on this image. And you'll see that they're pretty similar to each other. We're getting that same color scheme, that same kind of hill down here at the bottom. Instead of a circle, I'm getting more of just a general shape. But these are all somewhat similar to each other. So I'm going to take this one and replace yours with that.
That's fine.
Okay. So with that said, from here, let's grab a couple of these.
And I like this last one that you put on there because there are no text, there's no text on there, which I know Michelle being ADA, having the text on the images, that's not always our best option. But since it can create them without text, I think right now students could then go in and label, the different pieces of the water cycle and put the text on themselves. So luckily Canva kind of will generate a variety of different image types that you can pick from for what fits your students and their needs.
Sure. So that's the Magic Media tool. Now that I have an image, let's say that I wanted to make some changes to it. April, tell us about Magic Edit.
Yeah, so Magic Edit is a feature that will be embedded within your images where you can do exactly what it sounds like. You can edit images. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and increase the size here of this just so I can see it a little bit better. And now that I have my image selected, you will notice a new option here in my editor to edit the photo. If I just have the text open, notice edit photo doesn't show up there. So I have to actually click on my photo and I can click edit the photo. And when you edit your photo, you're also able to access some of those magic tools from Magic Studio, like Charles was saying, Magic Edit. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Magic Edit now. And the way Magic Edit works is you kind of select an area of your image that you want to change. So let's say all this text right here, that is really hard to read. I don't even know what it says. It might not even actually say anything in English. So what I can do is I can select that text with my brush. And let's just say I now want to say continue because I've selected the area in which I want to edit. I could also just toggle on to select the whole image, but in this case, I just wanted to edit that piece with the text. So then when I hit continue, I can now tell AI what I want it to do with that area that I selected. So for this example, maybe I'll say remove text on image. And I need to spell that correctly. And then once I've typed in what I want Canva to do with my image, I would click generate. And it's going to give me 4 new options to pick from based on the edit that I asked it to do. Like Charles said, though, this is not always going to be perfect. This is actually the first time I've had it remove text, so I'm not sure actually what it's going to generate for me here. And as you can see, it did not really generate maybe what I want. So if I click on this option, because that looks like it has a little bit less text, it's somewhat blurred out that information. Granted, it's not perfect, but it still now gives my students an area where they could go in and edit and add in that text piece there. So I'm going to go ahead and press done. And I've now edited that photo on all platforms of it. So whichever version my students will see, they will no longer see that text. They will just have that edited version. So that's another really neat tool when editing photos is that Magic Edit. And then there's another tool that Charles is going to look at when it comes to your photos called Magic Grab.
Okay, so Magic Grab allows us to grab the subject of an image. So for example here, Magic Grab is in that same edit photo tool. and it will automatically look at the picture and try to determine sort of what the central subject of the image is. In this case, we have quite a few kind of pieces, but it's actually done, looks like a decent job of grabbing all of those different parts of the image. And then if you'll notice, it filled in the background. So it didn't leave the background blank, it filled in kind of with similar shapes and colors. So this is a great way that you can either remove something from an image or be able to take the picture from the image or the subject of the image and maybe move it onto a different background. So I was thinking, if you had pictures of students that you wanted to be able to place in a historical context, you could take the picture of the student, use Magic Design to grab them out of the photo and then place them into, a historical context, or have them exploring the pyramids, or, riding a dinosaur, whatever it is that you wanted to do with them. So that's Magic Grab. Magic Eraser is another tool, similar to what we did with Magic Edit. That one would allow us to also try and remove that text.
That's the one I should have used instead of Magic Edit.
Okay, the next one we want to look at is the background remover. So I'm going to undo just so that we get the background back on this image. There we go. I'll let April show you guys how background remover works. Maybe. Perfect.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and delete the one photo that we've kind of edited a little bit, just so we have a clean, fresh slate now to look at that background remover. Again, that's another really nice AI tool when it comes to editing images. So I have my image selected. I'm now going to click that edit photo. And let's say I had a white worksheet, right, that I wanted to paste this image on. And when I copied it, the copier, that whole dark background would make it to where I could read the actual image. I could remove that dark background by clicking on this background remover. When I select background remover, it kind of does its thing in the background of the background, and it removes that background. But luckily, it does give me the ability to edit anything that was removed that I may not have wanted to be removed. So if I click on the configure option here, I can then erase more from my background, or I could restore something from my background that was erased. For example, if something up here was erased and I wanted to restore it, notice my brush strokes. And when I hit restore, oh, that wasn't there. Nothing's been restored there. Let's erase. It will erase that, or I could restore that area back. Also, you can reset to just start over from scratch if you needed to. So that's just a nice, easy little background remover tool if you needed to remove any backgrounds on your designs. So now that we have kind of utilized a lot of the image editors and the tool editors as far as creating designs, we will now look at a way you can take one design and have AI switch it to another design type to use in a different platform. And Charles will show us that one now.
Okay, so let's say that I've got this awesome water cycle journey where, my students have gone in and we've created this design, but I want to be able to share this with parents. Maybe I've got a school Facebook page that I'm turning this into my principal, and we're going to share off these awesome artifacts that we've made. But our Facebook page doesn't necessarily like this layout. Canva has this tool called Magic Switch that will let us automatically change the kind of shape and proportions of a design. So I'm going to go to Magic Switch here, and we can choose what we want to convert this to. So we've got several different options here. Social media, print, presentations, videos, websites, a whole bunch of different ones. We can even choose the size. I'm going to choose social media, and I'm going to redesign this as an Instagram image. So an Instagram post. So that's going to be 1080 by 1080. So it's going to turn this into a square shaped image. So it will give me a preview of what this will look like. And I'm going to create a new copy so that way I don't lose my original copy. So now it's redesigned that presentation into Instagram friendly image sizes. From here, I can always edit more, but I don't have to start from scratch if I want to be able to switch from one platform to another. So that's Magic Switch.
And then the last thing we're going to look at on that magic switched design. So again, I have the Instagram post here are the brand kits, because this is going to be something that, let's say I wanted to post out and share with the family, and I wanted to maybe add my campus or my district logo to that. Our communications department has done a great job of building brand kits for each of our campuses. So whenever you are in your Canva design space, on the left-hand side, you do have the option to click on brand. From your brand, I need to be in a campus team. So from your brand kit, give me just 1 second. Notice I'm in April Hernandez's team, which is why there was no brand kit. I will now need to navigate to a team with the brand kit, which would be one of my campus teams. So for this example, I'll just go ahead and use Watauga Middle as my example. And I wanted to create a post for social media with my brand kit. So let's just say this is my blank social media post. I would navigate to that left-hand side, click on brand, and I have the options to select the different brand kits assigned to my campus team. So for this example, I'm going to use the Watauga Middle brand. So I would select on Watauga Middle School, select my brand kit, and I now have a nice complete brand kit here with my logos, my colors, even my font sizes and types. Once I click on a logo that I like, it automatically will insert it into my design that I can then edit and resize for my Instagram post. So all of those brand kits can be accessed through the brand on the left-hand side. All campuses should already have those brand kits in their campus teams. If you are not able to find or need help with your brand kits, please don't hesitate to reach out to any digital learning specialist. We're more than happy to get you in contact with the right people to get those brand kits sent to you. So that kind of ends our magic session 4 when it comes to Canva's AI tools. But I do want to go ahead and give you guys an opportunity to ask any questions that you might have in the next 3 minutes. So as far as the chat, do we have any questions in the chat we need to address?
I think there.
All righty. Well, if there are no more questions, Heather is dropping the attendance link in the chat now. Please make sure you submit that form before 11:59 tonight in order to get access for your certificate to submit for Flex credit. And we appreciate you all for joining our first series of Innovation Ignites over Canva. This is honestly one of the most used tools, I think, from our department and several other departments that we're seeing. So it's a great resource. We are loving the usage that we're seeing out of it. So thank you all.